All right, let's move on to the next presentation. The next presenter is Dr. Ashok Banerjee. Right, he's here. He will be presenting the paper entitled Innovation in E-Learning Through Sponsored Project-Based Learning. He is currently...
Hello and welcome. Yeah, I'm presenting this paper. My colleague, Dr. Barbara, is currently not here. In fact, today is her marriage day. She's getting married today. And she sends her greetings to you. Yes, we at FORM, both of us teach at the Jones International University. It is the first accredited university in the world. And I teach from Calcutta, virtually from Calcutta, from my room. And my students are all over the world. And Jones is the only university where all our faculty are virtually located throughout the world. There's faculty from Japan, faculty from UK, from Germany, from South America, and me from India. So like that, it's a total virtual organization, and same are the students. I see it's not e-learning, it is a real university because we are offering learning opportunity for everybody. Any university, main objective to provide learning opportunity. But for that, people have to go to campus. But in Jones, they have to just log on and get into online. We don't have a physical campus. There is a campus that holds only the computers and other thing, and the administrative office, and rest thing is online. Today, I want to discuss with you what are the innovations can be done into e-learning based on our experience. We'll take Jones as the example, as a case study. First, I wanted to explain some rationale for e-learning, but this doesn't need to be covered in detail because in the morning session, Dr. Pavich discussed this very well. In fact, he described the whole space. So I will not go into much detail, I'll just briefly touch on that. And second approach, Dr. Bruce just said, and about the e-learning and the train, and that is what is happening. In fact, it is being seen today is the most fast-growing area where all the stock markets are falling throughout the world. E-learning market is the companies providing e-learning, their market is going up. Probably if you note that stock market reports. And that's why it is said that in future of learning will not depend on institutions that offer education, or it does not depend on whether they have a good building or good club or good system. All that matters is whether the education offers by the institution is what the salt. Whether there is a sound instructional design and whether there is a adequate faculty support and learning outcome of this one. So first we'll say e-learning, I'll not go into this detail, everybody knows about this data, but what I want to show that population data, it can be analyzed. This data does not mean anything, but if you tie this all data and classify it in different sectors, we can see, I'm just taking example from India and China, we can see clearly that the pattern or the need of education for the masses is in the different area. So this is a problem of quantity. Same approach could be done for any organization. You could discover what is the problem of quantity. Probably, but mistakenly most of the institutions somewhere there people will be going for higher education. I think I'm very happy to know that TCU is targeting tertiary level. I think that is the right target, and that is where everywhere the main need is there, the education should be provided. There is another problem, is challenge of quality. which is non-creative, boring curriculum, and that leads to tech rote learning and not hands-on experience, high dropout rate, insufficient teaching quality, not enough teachers. All these are the problems that compound the teaching quality. So we have two things: teaching quality problem and the quantity problem. But in terms of today's competitive world, it matters how the institution can match this one and how they provide adequately trained manpower for the community. So we have to manage the challenges of quality and quantity. Now there are several areas that could be managed within that. Is faculty, management, resources, assessment, curriculum, all these things. Each area needs further investigation and further exploration. But what I'll discuss today is talk about concentrate only on the instructional model area and see how that could be improved, and that can lead to meet the needs of the Wave 2 generation. Okay? So, what does it need? We need to think out of the box. Okay, so let's start the next, second phase of the program. There is a common mistake of e-learning. I've been seeing e-learning from the beginning. I've seen a big institution which started with e-learning with lot of funding, but it went on a wrong direction, it failed. In fact, if that institution was successful in e-learning, they could have directed it, it could have been the leader today. But management direction was just at that time putting all the lectures online. No pedagogy was considered, no methodology was followed. All they wanted is lecture, take the lecture of the lecturer and put the video online or the notes online. What we are saying that information resource is there. All the knowledge is also in the book. If you have a library in your institution, does it make anybody learning? Knowledgeable? Just by buying a book, nobody becomes knowledgeable. To become knowledgeable, there has to be some way of synthesizing this knowledge. Similarly, having a library is not enough. Or in the e-learning domain, converting that knowledge or information into digital form and putting that online, or having a lecture online, is just not e-learning. But unfortunately, that is what is happening. And today's record is there are more than 9,000 institutions that are offering online education. But how many of you have heard of them? And how many of them will survive? Nobody knows. So what is missing? Missing is we learn through community of practice. It's not just knowledge, it is there. We discuss the knowledge, synthesize the knowledge, internalize the knowledge. And this knowledge comes through social group practice. Everybody engage in its common activity and practice the learning and identify and internalize the main concepts. So it needs a community of practice followed on all the online information resource. Along with that, so what we have is the information resource is a total over holistic model where the information model is one. Then there is a social presence model which will provide the community of practice, but that also has to be supported by faculty. You cannot eliminate faculty altogether. In fact, faculty guides role changes because not a faculty, not a professor, it could be a facilitator. Role changes, it totally become different. It's a facilitation. And then there should be cognitive presence where the students develop their work. So to do this, there is a cognitive presence, and for this purpose, we use a project-based learning approach, where the project-based learning, students develop a professional synthesizing project, which is outcome of their learning thing that things they have learned. So this is the whole model. But you can see that top right, that area, that is a missing area still is the authentic problem. So to develop that, we want to further extended our system model further to into the sponsored project learning, where it is extended thing. So within the JIU model, we have the quality access, sponsored learning, and curriculum, instruction, all these models are there. So in project-based learning, students, you develop a professional synthesizing project with the guidance of a professor identified in the field, and the guide could be from any industry, from any other organization, and the students' objective is students support, provide service to the sponsor. So they develop some projects for the sponsor which can be used in the field or it could be used in the industry. So students provide the service, and because they are providing service, they are developing a project for the sponsor which can be used in the field. The learning becomes much more authentic and much more realistic. So this is the missing area that of the JIU model had that, and what we have added now. And this model had promoted us to take it to the next level for doctoral program that we have started offering now. So it empowers, advantage is that it empowers learning professionally and meaningful project. Students explore the theory that they have learned and the application to a real life problem. Each coursework is closely with a sponsor and complete the project addressed by relevant and authentic problem. So we are extending the classroom exercise learning to the real life, and that it becomes meaningful. So students prepare. The advantage is students are prepared to be active members of the network of practice because they learn how to network with others. They network with influential educators, and they develop a synthesizing project, synthesizing the learning experience. So we have seen that students connect to the leaders, students do professionally meaningful work, and it opens avenue for their further work in the professional. Who are the sponsors? We select we give the task to students to select the sponsor of the choice, but the sponsors are to be leaders in the field, and they help to ensure the project is related to the course topic. And right at the beginning, the student has to declare who is the sponsor, and the student, and throughout the course, the sponsor monitor the project, and about 1.5 hours every week is devoted by the sponsor. But at the end, as we have seen, at the end when we started the project, sponsored project, the result is fantastic, both from the student and from sponsor. That way we are creating external link from the student. It becomes a community, extending the community of practice. We have made an assessment, and assessment showed high quality portfolio ready projects, sponsored appraisal of student learning, supervising professor appraisal of student learning is also higher, student satisfaction rating of the learning is also higher, course retention, that is one main problem of the virtual university is the retention of students. We have found that our retention of students between course and in course is over 90%. And also that leads to naturally the high graduation rate and higher progress. And this also all helps them to practice in the workforce immediately. So main contention is that when we are going for online learning, not just putting learning material online, we need to provide logistic support, we need to provide faculty support, we need to provide authentic support, and that could be provided some sort of authentic project-based learning so that learning becomes much more authentic. So education, we need for the 21st century needs to be educated through 21st century skills. with that, and that needs innovation. So with that, I complete. I hope I am on time. Thank you. If you are interested, my email is there. You could contact me. And also, we are starting a project called Futures of Education project on my personal interest. You could also contact me if you are interested. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. Any questions from the floor? Okay. Go ahead.
Blended learning will be considered a better environment to support this sponsored project-based learning.
Blended learning is suitable for certain area, and sometimes maybe blended learning model is better than totally virtual. I consider. But in a blended learning model also, if you can connect the student to external through sponsored projects, that is why we go for apprenticeship, and that is also the sponsored project-based learning model can be applied in there also. But if you give me choose between totally online or blended learning, I would prefer for blended learning better. But
so the answer is yes.
There, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Right. As we all know that Jones International University is really one of the frontier universities in e-learning, especially, you have all courses offering online, right?
And even doctoral programs.
That's right. Also have bachelor degree program, master, as well as doctoral. All right. All right. Thank you so much. So I'll be taking this opportunity to give out the certificate of participation. Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee.